Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is, 8th chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme, text number 2. Ajagya katam ko antra Vesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kalecha Katam Yagno Asmi Yat Mabi Ha word for word Hariyagna Lord of Sacrifice Katam how Ka Who Atra here Dehe in the body as mean this Madhusudana O Madhusudana Prayana Kale at the time of death Cha and Katam how Yaja Asi you can know Niyata Amabi by the self-control. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Who is the Lord of Sacrifice? How does He live in the body? O Madhusudana. How can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Om Argyanaturam Dasya Janatana Slakaya Sakshurimutam Jaina Tadmei Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Danti Swapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Purport. The Lord of Sacrifice may refer to either Indra or Vishnu. Vishnu is the chief of the primal demigods, including Brahma and Shiva. Indra is the chief of the administrative demigods. Both Indra and Vishnu are worshipped by yajna performances. Here Arjuna asks, who is actually the Lord of yajna sacrifice, and how is the Lord residing within the body of the living entity? Arjuna addresses the Lord as Madhusudana because Krishna once killed a demon named Madhu. Actually, these questions, which are of the nature of doubts, should not have arisen in the mind of Arjuna, because Arjuna is Krishna's conscious devotee. Therefore, these doubts are like demons. Since Krishna is so expert in killing demons, Arjuna here addresses him as Madhusudana, so that Krishna might kill the demoniac doubts that arise in Arjuna's mind. So Lord, Arjuna has asked several questions, and the 1 through 4 in this chapter 8, I will give the answer to Arjuna's questions. First question is, what is Brahman? What is the self? What is fruitive activities? What is material manifestation? And what are demigods? Here he's asking, who is the Lord of sacrifice? How does he live in the body? How can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? So that's 8 questions asked by Arjuna. So, who's the Lord of sacrifice? And when Krishna was in Vrindavan, he was a little boy, 7 years old. He saw his father was arranging for some kind of sacrifice. He said, "Father, what are you doing?" And Nanda Maharaj said, "You're just a little boy. You won't understand these things." But Krishna said, No. One should not keep secrets between family members. I want to know, what are you doing?" So Krishna said that Nanda Maharaj said that I'm preparing a sacrifice to Lord Indra, because we're Vaishyas, and therefore we have to worship Indra to get rainfall. So Krishna said, first Krishna spoke this Karma-mimamsa philosophy. Those 6 philosophies, which are 5 of them are Maya body, impersonal, or they deny the existence of God. 6 philosophies which give explanations for creation. So Karma-mimamsa philosophy, because you just do your duty and work according to your karma, you get the results. So Krishna said, you don't have to worship Indra, because Indra just pours water on the land, he pours water on the sea, he pours water everywhere, so what does Indra have to do with rainfall? Better you worship Govardhan Hill. But Nanda Maharaj said, well, we'll worship Indra first, and then we'll worship Govardhan Hill. And so we made the arrangements. And Krishna said, no. You stop this Indra Yagya, use the same paraphernalia, worship Govardhan Hill. So they did that, they worshipped Govardhan Hill. Indra became angry because of his false pride, and sent torrents of rain and hail to devastate the whole area of Vrindavan. So, sacrifice is the Yuga Dharma. Krishna Varna Chisa Krishnam Sangapangasta Parasadam Yajna Sankirtan Prayer Yantihi Sumedasha. In this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So that's Lord Chaitanya, Yajna Sankirtan prayer. He come to give the Yuga Dharma, which is the congregational chanting of the holy name. Klodoshe Nehe Rajam Asti Eko Namaha Guna Kirtan Eva Krishna Shah Mukta Sangam Param Bhajit. Although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality in this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. So, in other ages, in Satya Yuga, the Yuga Dharma was meditation. In Treta Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is sacrifice. In Dwapara Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is temple worship. In Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is the chanting the holy name Harinam Sankirtan. So there's always been a question about who should be worshipped in sacrifice. So some sages, they wanted to know who they should worship, Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva. Because Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the guna avatars. Brahma is in charge of passion, mode of passion. Shiva is in charge of mode of ignorance. And Vishnu is in charge of maintenance. So they were confused. They didn't know who should be worshipped. I was reading the 8th canto. They glorified Lord Shiva. Sometimes they address Lord Shiva as Bhagavan. Sometimes they address Lord Brahma as Bhagavan. Some different personalities. Narada Muni, they address him as Bhagavan sometimes. So as they get confused, people get confused who should be worshipped first. But there's no confusion, because Bhagavad-Gita, in the 3rd chapter, says, Yagnat karmano yancha, lokyam karma bandhana, tadartam karma kantaya, mukta sangam samachaha. Work as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise works cause bondages in this material world. So that, and it says, the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sin because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment barely eat only sin. So, all living bodies insist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. So if the yajna is performed to Lord Vishnu, then all the necessities of life will be supplied. When Prithu Maharaj became the king, the citizens came to him and complained that they were starving because they couldn't get any food. So Prithu Maharaj took up his bow and arrow and was wanted to kill Mother Earth for not supplying food. But Mother Earth assumed the form of a cow. He would never kill a cow. And explained that she's holding all the grains in the earth because the people are sinful and there's no yajna being performed. And when there's yajna being performed, then the demigods used to come to this planet. But now there's no yajna and no proper yajna, so demigods don't come to this planet anymore. And demigods would get their share. They perform a yajna, they offer food to the in the yajna, and then demigods would get their share. So, different kinds of sacrifices are performed, but most people do Kali Puja, or they sacrifice animals, or they even sacrifice human beings to the goddess Kali, thinking that they're going to get some material benefits. But here it says, Yajna Kamro Yancha Lokanam Karma Vandana, that sacrifice has to be performed to Vishnu, Krishna only. Because if you water the root of a tree, then all the branches, leaves, flowers nourish. So, since Krishna is the original creator, the source of everything, if you worship Vishnu or Krishna, then everything will be supplied to you. But if you don't worship Vishnu, then there may be a shortage. So one time, some sages wanted to perform a sacrifice, but they didn't know who to worship. Krishna, Vishnu, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. So that's Brigamuni. You go to these three persons and see who's the one that should be worshipped first. Should be worshipped in sacrifice. So Brigamuni went to Lord Brahma, who was his father, and he didn't offer respects to him. And he's supposed to offer respects. When you see the spiritual master or your father, you're supposed to offer obeisances. People don't know that. But whenever you see the guru, you should offer obeisances. And the child, when they see their parents in the morning, they should offer obeisances somehow or other. So Brigamuni failed to do that, and Lord Brahma became very angry. But somehow he checked his anger. Then he went to Lord Shiva, who was his brother, and he went to embrace Lord Shiva went to embrace Brigamuni. But Brigamuni stopped him, said, "No, you can't embrace me. You put ashes all over your body, you wear skulls, you have ghosts and goblins as your disciples. I'm not going to embrace you." So Lord Shiva became very hot, took out his trident, and was going to kill Brigamuni. But Mother Parvati, she fell down at the feet of Lord Shiva, and she begged him not to do that, so he stopped. So then Brigamuni went to see Lord Vishnu in Svetadvip, and as soon as he got there, he kicked Lord Vishnu in the chest. And this was a surprising thing to do. The goddess of fortune didn't like that. From that time on, she doesn't give wealth to Brahmins. But Lord Vishnu said, "Oh, Brigamuni, you came. I'm sorry if I offended you. I know that my chest is very hard, and that you may have hurt your foot by kicking me, and I'm sorry that I didn't receive you when you came." So Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma were disturbed by this activity, but Lord Vishnu was not disturbed. And offenses are committed by the Vaishnava Aparad, can be committed by the mind, by the body, by the words, and by the body. By the mind is not as grievous, by the words is more grievous, but by the body is the most grievous offense, kind of Vaishnava Aparad. So Brigamuni did that because he was empowered. He was deputied, empowered by Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, empowered Shaktavesh to kick Vishnu in the chest. Otherwise, he would not have done that on his own accord. He knew that was wrong. But he did that because he wanted to test Lord Vishnu to prove that Lord Vishnu was above the modes of nature. Brahma showed the mode of passion, Shiva exhibited the mode of ignorance, but Lord Vishnu, he's above the mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. He's in pure Shuddha Sattva. So in this way, it was clear that Vishnu should be worshipped in all kinds of sacrifice. 1975, we heard this morning in class by Manuttama that he was here in 1975. He got initiated from Prabhupada. So when Prabhupada, they opened the temple in 1975, they had to call the local Brahmins to perform a sacrifice. Because at that time, the people in Vrindavan didn't accept the fact that Prabhupada had initiated Western people and gave Brahmin initiation and sannyas to Western people. They thought you had to be born in a Brahmin family to become a Brahmin. which is not the conclusion of the Shastra. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, but he became the Namacharya. Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were ousted from the Brahminical culture and became Muslims. They took Muslim dress, Muslim name, but Lord Chaitanya accepted them as his most intimate associates. Haridas Thakur became Namacharya, Rupa and Sanatana became the, part of the 6 Goswamis who were the most confidential associates of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Rupa, Sri Sanatana, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva Gopal, Bhatta Das Raghunath. This is a misconception. If not by birth, you become a Brahmana. If I'm a doctor, if your father's a doctor and you're born in his family, you don't become a doctor just because your father's a doctor. You have to go to school and get the degree and get the qualifications, then you can become a doctor. Someone may be born in a Brahmin family, but if he doesn't act like a Brahmin, then he's a Sudra, or less than a Sudra. So, birth is not the criteria, it's the qualification. If someone born even in a dog-eater family, but if he qualifies himself by following the 4 regulated principles, no meeting, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, jump 16 miles every day, then that makes him a first-class man. If he gives up his sinful activities, then he can be considered a Brahmana. So, at that time, when they opened the temple in 1975, they had to call the local Brahmanas to perform a sacrifice. And at the same time, the Harinam Sankirtan went on by Prabhupada's disciples. So Prabhupada said that Sankirtan was all that was required for opening the temple, but we have to do this sacrifice just to please the local people. Of course, whenever we open a temple, we have a sacrifice also, but it's not required, but it's part of the ceremony, part of the rituals to make this temple opening a bona fide institution for Pran Pratishtha, for installing the deities and everything. So in this way, Arjuna's first question, who is the Lord of Sacrifice? The devotees in this movement understand that it's not, and no one else should be worshipped and sacrificed. And of course, we're coming from the Western culture. We don't know anything about demigods. And what people in India and people in this part of the world, they mostly worship Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, different demigods. One devotee went to a temple in Indonesia, and when he was there, the Pujari said, "Our temple is better than your temple." He said, "Why?" "Because in our temple we offer, in your temple you just offer flowers and fruit, but our temple we offer meat and wine. So our temple is better than your temple." But there was a demigod temple, and even they offer meat and wine to goddess Durga, or whoever. She doesn't accept these things either, because she's a Vaishnava, she's a devotee. Her lessened beings may accept these things. So, we know that Krishna, it should be worshipped first. And Krishna, rather than Rajasuya sacrifice, they were trying to decide who should be elected first to worship. They all decided that Krishna should be worshipped first. So anyway, this is the answer to Arjuna's question. No one should be bewildered about who should be offered sacrifice. Sacrifice means sacrifice to Vishnu or Krishna, and this sacrifice in this age is by performing Harinam Sankirtan, chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now the next question he asks, how does he live in the body? Or where does he live? How does he live in the body? Yeah. So Krishna Vishnu is there as a super soul. It says, Sabhasacham Ridishani Visto Matasmasur Gyanapoham Cha Vedescha Savira Abhamme Vivedo Vedantakrit Veda Vedevachaham. So I'm situated in everyone's heart comes from me knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So Krishna is in everyone's heart. And also says, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Videshu Arjuna Tisari Ramayam Sarvabhutani Yantarudani Mayaya. Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated on a machine made of material nature. So the super soul is there guiding the living entity, like two birds on a tree. One bird is eating the fruits of the tree, the other bird is witnessing. So the super soul is there in everyone's heart, witnessing our activities. But to become Brahman realized, or super soul realized, you have to be a pure devotee, free from all contamination. When Prabhupada was translating Srimad Bhagavatam, he said he was taking dictation from the super soul. So most people, although the Lord is there in everyone's body, we can't realize that automatically. But we have to accept it as a fact that the super soul is accompanying all living entities through 8,400,000 species of life. And only the human beings have the intelligence to become Krishna conscious, to get out of the material world. Animals don't have intelligence. The monkeys, they have intelligence to steal your glasses or to steal your food, because Super Soul is giving them that intelligence. But they don't have the intelligence to come and join the kirtan or chant japa or do anything spiritual. So all living entities have the intelligence how to get their food, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That is called instinct or the guidance of Super Soul. But they don't have the intelligence that human beings have. So we shouldn't waste this human form of life. When you come to the human form of life, after going through 8,400,000 species, if you waste this human form of life, then you may have to take birth again in a lower species, and then wait until you progress to the higher species. So from the mode of past ignorance, from the monkey body you get a human body, from the mode of passion, from a tiger body you get a human body, and from the mode of goodness, from a cow body in the mode of goodness, you get a body in the mode of goodness. So it's up to you. Everyone has free will to choose whether we want to serve Krishna or disturb Krishna. And because we misused our free will, at one point we had to decide whether we wanted to serve Krishna, become Krishna conscious, or disturb Krishna, or come into the material world and suffer. So this is why we're in the material world. We misused our independence. So I'll read the last paragraph in this verse. Now the word Praya Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Arjuna is anxious to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What should be their position at the final moment? The final moment of death, all bodily functions are disrupted, and the mind is not in the proper condition. Thus disrupted by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. King Etc., a great devotee, prays. This is Mukunda Mala Sutra, one of Prabhupada's favorite slokas. He often chanted this in kirtan. Krishna tadiya pada pakaja pachang pacharantam adhyaiva me vishvatu manasa rup raja maha aham saha prana prayana samye kapaha vrata pitahai kanda vado varodana vidho smaranam kutaste. O Lord Krishna, at this moment, let the royal swan of my mind enter the tangled stem of the lotus of your feet. How will it be possible to remember you at the time of death, when my throat will be choked up with mucus, bile, and air? So King Kuchitra is praying, my dear Lord, just now I'm quite healthy, and it's better that I die immediately. Just now, better that I die immediately, so the swan of my mind can seek entrance at the stem of your lotus feet. The metaphor is used because the swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flower. Its sporting proclivity is to enter the lotus flower. Maharaj Kurukshetra says to the Lord, now my mind is undisturbed and quite healthy. If I die immediately, think of your lotus feet, then I'm sure that my performance of devotional service will be perfect. But if I have to wait for my natural death, I do not know what will happen, because at the time of death, the bodily functions will be disrupted. My throat will be choked up. I do not know whether I should be able to chant your name. Better let me die immediately. Arjuna's question, how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at such a time, which is the time of death. So, Sri Bhuvaneshwara also says, in the 17th verse, the devotee is praying that the Lord remember him at the time of death for all his sacrifice, so he not have to take birth again. So everybody in the material world has to take birth, has to get diseased, has to get old, and has to die. The Maharaj Yudhishthira, Pandavas were in the... Oh, here it is. I'll read this verse, 17, Sri Upanishad. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged in totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices, because you are the ultimate beneficiary. Please remember all I have done for you. So unless one is accustomed to devotional practice, what will he remember at the time of death? When the body is dislocated, how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interests of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. One can utilize the results of such practice at the time of death. So this is the conclusion that death is certain. Maharaj Yudhishthira, the 5 Pandavas, were in the forest. They were thirsty. So they went to drink water, one at a time. They went to a lake to drink some water. But an embodied voice said, don't drink the water first, answer my questions or you'll die. So first, Arjuna, Bhima, Nakul and Sahadev, they all went to the water didn't listen to the voice and drank the water and died. Then Yudhishthira went there, and the voice said to him, "Don't drink the water or you'll die. First answer my questions." So Maharaj Yudhishthira said, "Okay, what are your questions?" So he asked 20 questions, but one question was, "What is the most wonderful thing in this world?" And the answer is that the most wonderful thing in this world is everyone's thinking that I'm not going to die. You read the newspaper every day, people are dying everywhere. They're not only old people, young people, babies, everyone is dying at a certain time. But everyone's thinking it's not going to be me. My grandfather died, my father died, so many of my past ancestors have all died, but everyone's thinking I'm not going to die. This is the spell of Maya, illusion. Thinking I'm not going to die. That's for other people. But you can't avoid death. As sure as death. Three things are for certain in this world. Taxes and death, two things. Taxes and death are certain in this world. So everyone has to die. So we should practice Krishna consciousness very strictly, chant 16 rounds every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And prepare ourselves for the time of death. The final exam. If you go to school for 4 years, they give you a final exam. If you pass the final exam, you get your degree. So the final exam is the time of death. If you were able to think of Krishna or not able to think of Krishna, hopefully you'll be surrounded by devotees who will be hearing the holy name. And Krishna's in the heart. So if you can't think of Krishna at the time of death, Krishna will think of you at the time of death. But here in Vrindavan, Vrindavan's a special place. So Sanatana Goswami says in Krishna Lila Tattva, one book by Sanatana Goswami, which gives a synopsis of 10th canto, for those whether born in Vrindavan, if you're initiated in Vrindavan, you die in Vrindavan, or if you're cremated in Vrindavan, then you attain liberation. So devotees know, when they get notice that they're going to die, they know it's best to come to Vrindavan and leave their body. So we have the facility here now, the hospice, where anybody in the world who has a terminal disease like cancer, they can come and stay in the hospice and get taken care of until they leave their body. So they can leave their body in Vrindavan. If you're not sinful, then you'll get liberation. You not have to take birth again in this material world. So the whole idea is the material world is not a nice place. It's Gayalam Shashvatam. It's a place of misery and suffering. So we don't want to stay here and have to suffer any more than we have to. So that's the goal of the Krishna consciousness movement, that we can go back home, back to Godhead, go to Golok Vrindavan, serve Radha and Krishna, live eternally, Satchidananda, a life of eternally full of knowledge and bliss, and not remain in the material world suffering from ignorance, no happiness, temporary. So as soon as one takes birth, death is certain. As soon as one dies, birth is certain. So not at the time of death, everything stops. The soul goes to another body. So this is understanding. We have to try our best to become Krishna conscious in this life, not waste our human form. Finish the business in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. And those who are fortunate should come to Vrindavan and retire and live a simple life. Vrindavan is meant for retirement, meant for finishing our life, at the fag end of life, at the end of our life. We should not have any other interest but the service of Krishna. We should give up all family attachments. Like Prabhupada gave up his family, said his family had become nothing but a list of names. So Prabhupada said to his wife, tea or me, but she was drinking tea, and she had traded his Bhagavatam for tea biscuits. So Prabhupada was furious that she had done that. She didn't have any money, so. But he said, okay, that's it. You can choose, tea or me. Because she thought he was joking. But Prabhupada wasn't joking, and she didn't want to give up tea. So he took up Vanapras, and finally he took sannyas. He gave up all connection with his family, and then he just became a list of names. The Prabhupada showed how to retire from family life. When one reaches 50, over 50 years old, one should retire from family life. Not that one stays in his family for his whole entire life. Prabhupada says this is the most abominable thing. A person should stay in his family life for his whole life. It's not required. One should give up all attachment to family, friends, and relatives. As Rupa Goswami says, one gopi said to another gopi, if you have any attachment to society, friendship, or love, then don't go see that boy Govinda. So this will hamper our going back to Godhead. If we're attached to our family members, then there's a chance that we're going to be thinking of them instead of thinking of Krishna at the time of death. And family life is very entangling. There's no happiness in family life. Even though brahmacharis think sometimes that they'd be better off if they get married. But when they find out after getting married, they made a mistake. They thought they were better off as a brahmachari. So if you stay brahmachari, live a simple life, don't get entangled in family life and have to deal with so many problems and Prabhupada says for a householder, advancement is very slow or next to nil. So therefore, we're not going to get out of the material world as long as you're attached to family, society, friendship, and love. At least to this family, if you're attached to your wife and children, you're not going to get out of the material world at the time of death. And so we have to become free from material contamination, come to the mode of pure goodness, and from pure goodness we will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. Yam yam vapi smaram babam. Krishna says whatever you remember at the time of death, that was what you will attain. So this is the purpose of Krishna consciousness movement, to give us the opportunity to think of Krishna, to remember Krishna, and to not have to take birth again in the cycle of 8,400,000 species of life. So we'll stop there. Hare Krishna. Glory to Prabhupada.